Welcome to Town Board meeting, Thursday, November 7th. Please rise and salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Emergency exits are to my right, behind our deputy town clerk, and also the door you came in. Roll, please.
Councilwoman Smoji. Here. Councilman Gutierrez.
Here.
Gutierrez. Councilwoman Doyle.
Here.
Supervisor Perotti.
Here.
Let the record reflect Councilman Morris is absent.
Okay, make a motion to open public hearing for the 2020 preliminary budget.
I second your motion. Did you make, is that what you said? Okay.
Councilwoman Smoji.
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez.
Yep.
Councilwoman Doyle.
Yes.
Supervisor Perotti.
Yes. Is there any comment on the budget?
Did we get a copy, or are they on the seat over there?
There should be a copy in your,
Yeah, I don't think there was one in my packet.
there should be one in your packet.
I know I saw it, so.
I can get it, Sharon.
I got one in there.
Thank you, Sharon. I don't think I have one.
Does everyone else have one?
Yeah.
Okay. Any comments?
If there are no comments, do you want to give a quick overview of the, oh, here, it's right here. Jeez.
That's okay. We'll
Do you
forgive you
want-
this time.
Do you want to give a quick overview of the changes we've made?
Some of the changes I made were, in order for us to stay under the cap, I increased some of the revenue lines based on, I usually go back 2 years. I have operating revenue statement in December of 2018, 2017, so, you know, I feel comfortable with the revenue lines. The other line that I cut was the assessor. I had 2 computers in there. I cut that down to 1. I mean, they're not so far out of warranty where we could, you know, we could replace the other one next year. The other lines were engineering. I cut $10,000 out of that. Reduced the attorney line to 80,000, and the maintenance line. The actual maintenance line went down from 50,000 to 40,000. The supply line I moved down from 9,000 to 8,000. What we did in the course of the budget is I had Annette do a review of the supplies that each of the department, so we made adjustments in their personal supply lines so that, you know, they wouldn't be taking out of the main storeroom line. The other thing that comes out of the storeroom line are all our contracts, you know, for the rugs and mop heads and water and whatever. I reduced the postage line down to 8,000. The reason it was more this year is because we had to replace the postage machine. So we're not, you know, so we really don't need to do that next year. Central data processing, I left the same. Police and constables are the same. Dog control, I took out the mileage.
Contingency, you went down to 50.
Yeah, The
at
what?
some point. The contingency, you went down to 50.
Yeah, I took 10,000 out of contingency, moved it down to 50, which is what it was this year. Register vital statistics, I put down to 1,900. I think that's a good number there. And where else did I cut? I took the $1,000 out from kitchen because we have a capital fund for the kitchen with donations in it, so I didn't see the point of that. I talked to John Scott today. We're going to look at, get estimates to put the grease trap in now that we finally got the approval from Department of Health after a year. So we'll see what that'll cost. But we have $28,000 in a capital fund for the kitchen, so we might as well use that. And
The rec program you brought down because we hadn't used the 27 in a while, so you went down to 24, right?
right, to 24, because when I went back and looked, the most we've used is between 22 and 23.
That makes sense.
So that was 27.
Right.
And so it made more sense to cut there. So I tried to cut places where, you know, it made sense to cut. I had originally put 15,000 in for the rec supervisor, and I cut that down to 10, because basically it's going to be a part-time, you know, maybe 10 hours. And let's see. Historian, I had to add 3,000 because of the grant to, work that we're doing with the county to digitize some of our
Books.
books that are very fragile condition right now. And that's pretty much what I did.
Planning rail trail came to 0 because you think we're beyond that.
Yeah, we don't need that. I took that out of there. So I took out everywhere, you know, where there wouldn't be any kind of a financial. You know, I think we'll be okay. So that puts us,
I missed the change in the land use attorney from the, it was in, I missed, did we have any discussion about the increase from 25,000 to 40,000 for that?
no.
Do you guys feel that that's needed? Is there something in the pipe that we think I guess we did overspend on.
Well, there's a lot of things we had a lot of things go through
Yeah.
zoning board of appeals. We had a lot of things go through the planning board that he had to be involved in.
So we had to adjust our budget lines this year
Yes.
to accommodate, so that's a
Because,
reaction.
because a couple of times during the year, I had to find money somewhere else and put in there.
Okay.
So it didn't make sense to just keep doing that.
40,000 is a lot, though. I think we should really be
Do if you want,
aware of what is going on and on the plate. that-
but the thing is, you don't know. I mean, you don't know what's going to
Well,
come up in a
you know,
year's
you
time.
put 40,000 and we have 2 more suits going from planning board decisions to the ZBA. We had 3 in front of the ZBA that were very expensive.
We still have one.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like a lot. I'd hate to see that become like an annual
No,
amount. 'cause
but if we
it's
have current,
beyond
if we have a
out
current
of the norm.
suit in place, then we need to have a way of paying for it.
Okay, well, I certainly hope it's going to be less than 40.
But if it's, you know, if it's less than 40, then, you know, we can cut it down next year.
And we still have the noise ordinance outstanding and the solar law outstanding.
The solar law we're going to do next meeting.
I have
And
had,
noise, I thought you were talking to the zoning review committee about looking at that.
they need feedback from this town board as to whether or not the recommendation of Nina's is something that we want to follow up before she does a lot of research.
Which
So,
was,
She had, I think I forwarded you her email.
Yeah, you did. She had recommended we look at some surrounding town law.
Yeah, that she thought that there was a hybrid of where you would keep in the unreasonable noise, but back it up with scientific data from a noise, a decibel reader that is easily calibrated, and it would not be the only source of information, it would just back up.
Yeah. So why don't we catch up on that after we finish going through the budget?
Yeah, because that would, probably,
It's worth a dedicated discussion, I think.
okay.
and.
Can I
the
ask a
on- the
question?
only- Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, just in the debt service, why did the interest on the capital notes,
Which one?
the 97107, that one doubled this year?
It
Did we-
doubled?
Well, in 2019, it was 9,400, and now we're
Where,
up to,
what are you looking at?
sorry. It's up to 18,000?
Do you have a page number? Because
Yep,
that debt service
sorry.
is always
Page
hard.
6 of
We
11.
have an actual.
Page 6? Okay. yeah, got it.
Schedule that we get from M&T.
Yeah.
Which is in your book.
Yeah.
So I have to follow the schedule.
I just was wondering if, 'cause normally the, the schedule has payments that are relatively the same over the course of the term of the repayment.
Right.
So I'm just wondering if we, it doubled, so did we add, is there additional debt that we are,
No, that's the
Servicing.
old Amenia landfill. It is, that doesn't change.
yeah, okay.
But
So-
there, the schedule is actually in your book. Because the bank, M&T sends us a schedule. I think it's
I
probably
know, yeah.
back here.
I remember seeing it, I just think it's, it's like a mortgage payment, right? Like your mortgage payments don't,
Yeah, I mean,
Double.
they changed,
They do change a little bit depending on
bit.
who buys it and the terms.
Yeah, we
because-
haven't, we're in long-term debt with that now, which means if you have like a band, you can renew it every 5 years. Well, we're beyond that with that. We're in the long-term phase, so it just stays where it is.
would it be under, oh, here it is, no, it's its own tab.
See, this is it here. This is New York State Environmental Facilities Corp., and this is the schedule. So I get those numbers from what they give me. So they give, give us a schedule for the life of the loan. So that's what that number is. They say, this is what it is, and this is what you need to pay. Like, okay. Then we pay it, I think it's quarterly. They send us a bill and say, okay, you need to pay this much now. Then we pay it. But this is long-term debt from the old Amenia landfill.
All right.
They sent us,
Can't say I fully understand that, but that's,
Well, this
They-
is the time to go over it if we need,
well, there's nothing to go over, it is what it is.
yeah, I get
They
that
send us the
They
list
send us the bill, we pay
and
it.
tell us to pay it.
I just don't.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years we've got on this schedule, is that right?
You're looking at Schedule A? The
I'm looking at Schedule A for the,
loan ID 4240?
Yep.
yeah. So it looks like we've got 15 years on it.
18,000.
Fiscal year, it says fiscal year, but it doesn't say what fiscal year. So it's 65,000 that we owe this year.
Right.
And so that's what you plugged in. So next year, we're going to owe 63,000, right?
Right.
Because variable interest rate, so it does change, that number will change.
So they just
Yep,
send me what to plug in there.
it's the same
No,
with
I'm
the
not,
school.
I'm not talking about the 65,000. The 65,000 is the principal, right? But if you look at the column that's annual net debt service by fiscal year,
There's two things that get added into that.
right, it's like everything, it's all this stuff, right? It's after the coupon, after the discount,
Just
plus the
subsidy.
administrative fee, less the subsidy. So it comes out to, what year are we in now? 10? 5? What, I don't remember what you said, Vicki, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, there's 15 years here, so I assume that this is starting, we probably have been paying at least 5 years
Yeah,
debt service. It was probably a 20-year note, and there are 15 years listed here as far as I can see.
yeah, they changed it once the project was finished.
So this,
They-
this is the total payment column, right, including principal and debt?
To the right,
To
yeah.
the right. So if we're in year 5, the total payment is 75,800, which would make sense with your.
No. I think
No?
she's got this updated. I think this is starting with, I don't know. Is this the first year here at the top, 78,062? That's this year, right? I mean, it doesn't have the year weirdly enough. It just says fiscal year. It's a,
Sorry, do you want mine?
No, it's okay.
I mean, you also included, Victoria, the email from Denise Williamson
Yes.
that does show the bond interest at 18,210
Yeah, they figure that out
for fiscal 2020.
because there's more than one charge that goes in there. So she tells us
Old Dominion
what line to put it in and, you know, how we need to record it.
and the interest on the debt. So it's 65 and 18,210.
Oh, I think I understand.
Do
So
you?
here in her email, she says you want to budget the full principal and interest and then budget the subsidy and revenue. So maybe we didn't do that in 2019. Maybe we just budgeted the net, which would be the 9,500.
Right.
And maybe this year we're doing, like she said, we're showing the full interest.
Right. Well, we asked her, you know, to make sure we were accounting for it correctly.
So is there a corresponding, in the revenue line, is there a corresponding subsidy for the interest and earnings?
There's an interest and earnings line in the revenue, under revenue.
There is. Okay, well, we may have missed some revenue then, potentially, which is good news,
Well,
right?
yeah.
I don't think it would fall under the interest and earnings if the subsidy.
No, it's under the, it's in a separate line. I don't know if it necessarily shows here. It tells you how it's broken out in her email. You know, we have it set up in that line, but it isn't necessarily a line that goes on the revenue line because it isn't actually revenue. It's just part of the calculation of the debt. So
Okay.
that's why Denise told us how to properly account for it. Because it affects our AUD we send at the end of February on how you record the debt.
All right.
And do you have any other questions, comments?
It would be nice on this summary that they give us is to give us the actual fiscal year. I don't understand where that, how we are supposed to know. But it's just my comment. Who provides that to us? Our loan agent or
At EFC.
EFC provides?
Yeah, M&T Bank actually has the debt, but it was originally set up through EFC. So what I could do is get an updated schedule that has more information on it, and then I can send that to you.
Yeah, so that those numbers that the bookkeeper has reflects somehow here. I don't see those numbers in here.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Victoria,
what year it is, I don't know what year.
I would also just double confirm that we've budgeted the subsidy in whatever revenue line is appropriate. Because that's basically what she's saying is like, the total interest on the bond is 18,000, which is the number that we have in our budget. But the net cost that the town will pay after the discounts and all that is actually like closer to $10,000. So she's saying to budget the whole 18,000 as
Under
the
bond interest.
as the expense, but then include the $8,000 in subsidies or whatever in revenue somewhere. So we may have missed some revenue, which is not a bad problem to have.
All right, I see the 65 in the first column, principal. I guess I'm just missing the 18, exactly where that,
It's right underneath it. Oh, on there?
yeah. And then it says interest, and it has 11,000 and then 10, that doesn't add up to 18. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's not easy to read, let's just say.
Well, I can get an updated one that,
Yeah, that's more
because we usually
intelligible.
ask for one every year, just in case anything has changed, so we have the right number budgeted.
Yep.
Right on.
Oh, any other questions, comments?
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Can you come up to the podium? So everybody can hear your question.
Can we just get Sharon her own personal microphone at this point?
On the
Well, she
item
has one.
about
Nobody else is here.
On the social security item, I just noticed that it went up from 45,000 to 49. What would cause a change like that in something?
Social
Which is a
Security,
constant?
because our wages went up 2%, so probably the Social Security we have to collect is,
We're actually adding 2 positions.
and adding 2 positions, so our costs would go up.
Our cost went up.
So we buried the lead here, so Victoria, we're under the cap?
Yes,
Hooray!
$1,450 under the cap. I have to make some minor adjustments to a couple of things, but we're still going to be under.
Bravo.
And then with the difference in the taxable assessed value there'll be an actual decrease in town taxes of 0.48913 per thousand will be the decrease in taxes.
Did the state end that rebate program for
Yes, this is the last year.
this year?
Yes, and it's only for the school.
For
The one
school? Oh, really?
for the town to stay under the
Tax cap that
tax
ended?
cap, that ended in 2016.
Okay, so
And this
when
is the last year.
people don't get their checks in the mail,
They will get them this year if the school district stayed under the cap.
right, but That has nothing to do with our budget.
No.
Yeah.
And this is the last year it will be in effect for the schools. And as of next year, it'll be gone. But the tax cap, they did make the tax cap permanent.
Yeah.
And
But
the
they
reason,
took away the incentive.
right. And since the way the law reads, it's 2% or the rate of inflation, but inflation is over 2%. So that's why there was a 2% tax cap and not less like it has been in other years.
All right. I have no further questions. Vicky?
No, so in general, the tax rate per thousand in 2019 was 1.25, and I know we'd have to roll the highway, and it was 1.21 for the highway in round numbers. And then 2020, it's $1.07 in 2020, and the highway's 0.90, so we are going down in the mill rate.
Yes, we are.
All right.
Are we good? And if you think of anything else, I mean, we're not adopting until the 20th, so you can just shoot me an email. Okay, have we closed the public hearing?
Motion to close public hearing for 2020 budget and return to regular meeting. Motion made by,
I make that motion?
Second.
Councilwoman Smoji,
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Supervisor Parodi.
Yes. Is there any other public comment? There is no supervisor's report, town clerk report.
Dawn Marie is sending you the August, September, October, and tonight minutes via email next week, and will leave a folder in your mailbox with hard copies of each. Please review prior to the next meeting. The monies collected for state and local fees for the month of October totaled $1,695.25, and the local share was remitted to the supervisor in the amount of $1,511.75. Total number of dogs registered for this year is 295. Since the enumeration began in September, a total of 100 new dogs have been entered into the system. Per the enumeration form, the deadline is November 15th. A complete list of registered dogs will be turned over to the dog officer after this date. Every property owner was sent dog application and is reminded to register their dog. The dog law is available online under the town code. Earlier tonight, you met with a candidate for the CAC. Are you ready to take action?
Yes, I make a motion that we appoint Christina Gast to the CAC for, I guess, for a 7-year term, but I don't know.
Effective immediately.
Effective immediately.
Second.
Councilwoman Simoji,
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Supervisor Parodi.
Yes.
Also, the following board terms are expiring on 12/31/2019. Planning Board, Eric McEnroe. ZBA, Michael Chamberlain, and 2 alternates, Tracy Saladay and Leo Blackman. They have been emailed to send their letters of interest for reappointment to Dawn no later than November 19th. In observance of Veterans Day, all town offices are closed. I also have a few announcements. We got this flyer from the Northeast Community Center. They're having a winter coat giveaway on Monday, November 11th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. It says, "Come and pick out a warm winter jacket or coat for yourself and family members. This free event is offered by the NECC in partnership with Duchess Outreach. I also have this flyer, I believe Dawn has mentioned it before, with the fire, Amenia Rescue and Rebuilding Together. They're giving away fire extinguishers, smoke alarms, CO alarms, motion active solar light, LED light bulbs, and also, which is very important, is the reflective numbers for your houses, so emergency response people can find your house in case of an emergency. This concludes the town clerk report.
Can I ask a quick question about the animal control monthly report,
Sure.
which is awesome, by the way? Excuse me. There are a couple of things in here I think that are worth noting. It sounds like there have been some requests to consider establishing a dog park. Did anybody, nobody's reached out to me directly about that. Has anybody else heard?
I have heard, and there is...
Mia mentioned it, someone mentioned it. I've had 2 people mention it to me.
We did mention it at the CAC and had talked about it potentially being at the Old Amenia landfill as an opportunity for use of that, a passive use, recreational use. It sounds like the other interest is looking at the Wasaic Park.
Okay, neat. And then there's a note here that the pet pantry is empty this month at both locations.
I don't know where the pet pantry is.
Is there one in South Amenia,
I
Michelle?
think
There's
there's
one-
one south of me, right?
Yes, there is.
Where is the other one? Sad Immaculate Conception?
I don't know if Immaculate has a pet pet.
I didn't know if they had one or not.
I don't know that.
I know South Amenia does.
South Amenia, I also know that the drop and swap thing next to the VFW, I don't know what it's called, I call it drop and swap. They do give out food for animals. I don't know how exactly how they work it. I think they know who's coming in and what their needs are, and they have,
Are they doing any collection?
not that I've heard, for that, no. Something collected, my sister's involved with the senior companions, and they're doing a collection. But she's down in, she works at LaGrange and stuff, so that's the one I know of collecting right now. But,
Yeah, can you follow up with South Amenia and
Yes.
see
if
there's a need, we can put a box out here and people can donate?
certainly.
Awesome, that was it, thank you.
Okay, building report. There were 16 new building permits totaling $24,561.75. Certificate of occupancy searches were 8 searches totaling $1,125, 1 fire inspection of $50, 1 temp permit of $150, bringing the total to month to $25,886.75. Excuse me. Are there any other committee reports?
CAC will be, 3 members of the CAC will be attending a workshop about how planning boards and zoning boards of appeal can utilize natural resource inventories and open space plans in their deliberations. So we'll be going with our natural resource inventories and learning more about how they can be used in those decisions. We are meeting on the 3rd Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Awesome. Did we want to read the water report that we got? Did we not get one?
I got it by email and read it. It looked fine. It addressed all of the concerns that I had about zero reads and replacing faulty meters and which meters were replaced, all of the documentation I think we need in order to understand. The only thing that I don't really, I didn't see it, but maybe I overlooked it, was what his long-term plans are for capital improvements. I know the water tower needed attention, but
Right.
I'm not sure where we're at with that and the pressure.
We
The lack
need,
of
we need
pressure.
a new water tower.
Yeah, when we last had that conversation, they were gonna go back and see if they could retrofit it by adding more rings at the top, remember?
Well, I
They were
asked for a report for November so we can have him come
And talk, okay.
and talk. Well, I'll make sure he's on the agenda.
This water report, if we get this on a monthly basis, would be amazing.
And I think it's necessary for
Yeah.
us to stay abreast.
Well, it's required in his contract anyway, so. Since we're talking about water, the water bill from the water operator had to have some adjustments made to it. And so I wanted to make a motion to approve the SEBI Environmental Services bill for $7,895 for payment.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Samoji,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gutierrez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Supervisor Perotti.
Yes. Now, the only resolution we have on here for 2020 legal services for attorney to the town and special counsel for tax securities. I also had you sent the last year's contract, so you could see that as well. I mean, the basic attorney charge is the same. The litigation charge is $245 per hour. And that would also be the charge for cert cases also.
Can I just,
This is litigation.
so Ian is currently our tax attorney, correct?
Yes.
I mean, with the exceptions where he can't,
Right.
yeah. And back when Scott was our town board attorney, was it Ian who was our tax attorney?
No.
No.
Scott did both.
Scott did both? Mm-hmm. Okay. All
I'm
right.
not thrilled with
But the,
sartorial.
when Scott, when Denise left, we actually hired Osterman, Hanner, and we had Genevieve for a short time.
As our tax attorney?
No, as our town
board.
attorney.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then at that time, that's when Scott was doing the tax.
Right,
And then
right,
after
okay.
that, we just hired that group to do both.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind interviewing people specifically for tax certiorari matters because I think that 245 might be on the high side, and I'd like somebody who's really specialized in it. This is a very specialized area of law that I think it behooves us to, we've had two, I think we can do better, perhaps, but I would like to compare and see if we can't interview some people who are specifically,
Well, we already have one who's
Specialist.
doing most of our tax certs.
Sean.
Yeah,
So,
Shane.
Shane, sorry. He's at McCabe & Mack, I can't remember.
Capolero.
Capellino or whatever. I wouldn't mind doing a little bit of research and seeing if there aren't others out there. Shane, I'd like to talk to our assessor and make sure that he's very, very comfortable because, Judge Brandt has not agreed with some of our lines of argument.
Well, that doesn't mean he's
That doesn't mean,
right.
doesn't mean it, but
Do we have 2 resolutions? There should be one for tax certs and then one for,
yes.
Town
Attorney
attorney for
General.
2020.
so you want to do the town attorney one?
Yep, I guess. I would hold off on the cert.
We don't have to do the cert tonight. Do you want to just do the town attorney one?
I'd be okay with carrying on with Ian for $200 an hour, right? And litigation at $245.
Yeah, that's the same thing we pay Dave.
Is
Dave is
Jim back
$225.
next meeting?
Yeah,
He is?
yes. That's why we're not doing the solar. Because I wanted a full board when we did that.
Okay. I'd be curious to know his perspective on our, both our town attorney and our tax cert.
Yeah, can we wait until he comes back to
Representation.
weigh
Yeah, do you
in?
want to table that?
If we can, that would be great.
Well, it's only, I mean, it's for next year.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get things
Yep.
done. Okay,
Sorry.
no, that's okay. I mean, we've got plenty of time. We have all of December. I've just been trying to make sure, I think we've got all our consultants taken care of, all the other ones. Okay, email upgrade discussion.
Yes. So, as we've been talking about now for a while, I'm just going to pull up my spreadsheet really quickly. So, I've pulled all the costs together. It's a combination of costs from BAS to do 2 things: to perform the migration and then set up a data backup system, which would primarily be used for like FOIA requests and all that. They currently offer that service on our existing email server.
So is there a timeline? I'm just not clear on how all this is going to work.
So the license costs, so the first step is these forms here. We got these from Dell,
Yeah, we have them.
which is the reseller of Microsoft's Office 365 licenses.
Okay.
And what they did is they looked at the negotiated New York State rate, which is what's referenced here on this page, this New York State enterprise enrollment. And they put together a quote for 60 licenses, which was based on the list that we went back and forth on. And so the steps would be to first procure these licenses. And the cost for that is, let me pull this up.
I thought we authorized that at the last meeting.
I think.
Well, I didn't want to sign anything until we had a timeline and
Right.
everything in place, because I don't think anybody wants their email not to work.
Yeah, of course. So.
So there's no timeline that I know of.
No, if we do, so we talk to BAS. BAS has to actually do the work, right? So we buy the licenses, and this we get in 3 days, right? We fill in the forms, send the payment, I think you use a credit card or check. And then they just issue the licenses electronically. It's just a bunch of numbers. Then we go to BAS and we say, okay, you guys are ready, here are the licenses, you start the migration. And they said that that would take a number, like 2 weeks or something, a handful, like not a long time. And they would be able to do it remotely. And they provided a cost for that, which was $3,000, just a flat fee to migrate all of the existing email accounts that are on our old server. So that's a one-time $3,000 fee. The $4,500 for the licenses is annual and is based on 60 users. So if it's more or less, you pay more or less. And then
The only concern I've heard about this so far is that I believe you said there would be one email address for each committee instead of,
that was just an idea. So we don't
Okay.
have to do that. And
Okay.
the costs that are spec'd here are, they don't take that into account. That was just an
Okay.
idea that, like, a way
To
that we could
save
save
money
money.
annually.
Yeah, but
And
it,
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
well, it doesn't, if you're getting emails from people who are on the committee for using their private email coming in, or
But
getting
they
Oh,
can
no.
forward
Yeah.
it to your private email if that's,
So as,
But the
as-
whole point is that we're not, we're not really supposed to be using private email.
correct. And so the idea would be like the CAC has one email address, ameniacac@amenianewyork.gov.
and we all get it.
And then as we hire new committee members, or the existing committee members, we would just take your personal email addresses, whoever the volunteers were, and the administrators here at the town, would set up the email so it was basically a proxy. It would just, if any email came to CAC Amenia, it would go to the members of the committee. And they could use that to communicate amongst themselves, and then it would all be on the record. It would all be on the town email because it was going through a town email. But instead of having 6 accounts, you have one.
Right.
And then we also get to sort of manage who gets those emails and who doesn't, because we're the ones setting up the proxy. I don't want to confuse the matter. It's just something we could talk about.
A cost savings, potentially.
Cost savings,
My
but-
concern would be if, they're closed on Friday and it might be Monday or Tuesday by the time you get your email, if they physically have to forward then it on to the
It
committee members.
the
It
computer does it. Yeah,
auto-forwards.
it's the
Okay.
proxy is any email that comes in gets, if we say, okay, we're the town and we know that there's 4 people in the CAC now and we just
Yeah.
appointed a 5th, we curate those email addresses.
Yeah.
So we would call BAS and be like, we have a new member of the CAC, and they
Right.
would add it to that list. And
Right.
instantaneously, it gets any email that goes to, CAC, Amenia.
But would it be an ameniany.gov email?
Yes, yes.
That they would receive?
Yes, correct. And then when they reply, it would still go through the Amenia. So we keep all the records. Again, it's just an idea that I didn't take that into account for this, but if we want to save money next year and knock off,
So what are the next steps for this? Just for me to sign it?
yep, we would sign these, get these back to Dell. They would issue the licenses to us.
So it goes back to, are you going to do I give it back to you? or-
Yeah, I can do that. Or we could just scan it and email it to Jerry. I think I copied you on an email to him, but I can.
So Jerry's someone who should get it?
Yeah, Jerry is our rep at Dell.
Okay.
And then as soon as we get our license codes, we call BAS and say we're ready to go. I checked in with them about a week ago. They can still do the project this year, so.
What happens in those 2 weeks that they're migrating? Do we use our old
Yeah.
system? We can continue using it without,
Correct.
so they'll be doing it in the background.
Yeah, it'll be completely seamless, like.
So once I sign these and send it to Jerry, does that start the process?
We have to
Or do we have
alert.
to?
I
alert?
can keep shuffling the papers back and
Yeah,
forth, so.
can I just send it to you and let you?
Yeah, no problem. And then I'll
run
let
with it?
BAS know when we get
Because
the.
I'm not, I just want to make sure we don't miss any steps,
Yeah, no problem.
since you are intimately
Yeah.
involved with this.
My little pet project.
Yep, and I'm going to let you finish it.
That's fine. Exciting. We won't be in the mid-2000s. The email's
Well,
pretty bad.
considering all the issues we're having,
Yeah. But the bigger thing, just so that everybody knows, our email system is so old that Microsoft has stopped supporting it. So if there's any bugs or a virus or something happens, like they officially don't support that product anymore. So we have to do something. And the option was to upgrade the box that we have or to move to, Microsoft has a government-specific cloud service that they offer, and New York State had a great rate negotiated for all the municipalities in the state, so.
okay, so I'll take care of that and get that to you, and you can do whatever you need to do.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, the only other thing I have under other matters is Open Edge, which is the online payment company that is part of our current utility billing software. The only One of the problems I see with it is that if a customer sends in a payment for $80, what we'll receive is $79.75.
Well, they take a
So they take the 25 cents. So
For
they're
the service.
assessing the town the 25 cents.
right.
Where, so we're looking at ways of still allowing people to pay online where the town wouldn't be assessed as charge.
I would be surprised if you're able to find a provider who would not charge any fee for an online payment. I'd be comfortable with the 25-cent fee.
We haven't, the one
I know
we,
you currently do, but they're not going to do that forever. I mean, are they doing it,
they've been doing it for years.
and they'll continue doing it?
I don't know. That's what I wanted to know. If we, we're kind of looking to see whether we need to use this. The thing, if we sign up for this, and somebody has to actually go into our utility software and set up an account, it's like a whole process. So we're kind of looking to see what other options we have. Currently, we only have a few people that pay online, but if we want to encourage more, we want to make it as simple as possible.
Yep.
Public comment? Town board comments?
Yes. First off, I'd like to say thank you to those people who donated to the Castlegate VA Hospital Food Bank Drive. Thank you all very much. A lot of people in the town hall gave also, so I thank you all for that. The senior holiday party is going to be on Wednesday, December 11th at the Pond. It's $45 per person, $2 tip for the bus driver if you ride the bus. And I always tell people this party is open to everybody. Everybody, I mean by like, if your mother's a senior and she's on the bus and she would like you to come along with her and join the party and stuff like that, you can do so, okay? You just pay your fee and you can come. But the buses are for the seniors first. So we'll pick up at Tally Ho at 2 o'clock and pick up at the town hall at 2:30. And you can also drive yourself to the pond if you like. It's going to be a great time. Going to have music, door prizes, 50-50, and all kinds of fun. The Veterans Day ceremony is this Monday, the 11th. And I hope that all of you folks will come out to see the ceremony. It's VFW 5444. They work very hard. They set it all up. It's nice. It's really, really, really nice. And come on out and support the veterans in this country, especially in this town. This town has an extraordinary history of veterans in this town. It's extraordinary. And of course, if you live in this town, you already know. Yes, I know my great uncle, yes, but just for people who are new to this town has an extraordinary history with veterans. It goes way back. So I'd just like to have you come out and see this ceremony. And if you're a veteran or not, or what have you, the VFW has a little like luncheon thing, and they'll announce at the thing on Monday. And extend, huh?
11
Oh, it's
o'clock.
11 a.m. I'm sorry.
The 11th month, the 11th day,
The 11th.
the
hour.
11th hour.
Yep. 11:11.
Our Assemblywoman Dee Dee Barrett will be there giving her remarks as well.
Is
So,
there any other town board comments?
no, that's all that I have.
Make a motion to go into executive session for pending litigation, tertiaries, and the deputy town clerk is excused.
Second.
Councilwoman Samoji,
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle,
Yes.
Supervisor Parodi.
Yes.